Basketball Talk Pro. My name is Ron Ekker. I'd like to mention something to you prior to the time we start on the subject for today, which is freelance offense. And I'd just like to ask this, a kind of a favor of each and every one of you. If you know a coach who is not watching Basketball Talk Pro, but you think that he's a coach that is interested in the game, wants to improve himself, I'd really appreciate it if you would email me with his email address and name and phone number if possible. And I will invite him. I will just send him a short email inviting him to watch our show, to try our show, give it a try. And because we are looking to improve the number of people that we share these things with, so that more coaches are in a learning environment that they want to learn. And because this is from both parties, from me and from you, something that we do on our own. You know, neither one of us get paid for it. But we are sharing basketball ideas and things. And I think that it's something that more should be done. So if you know of a coach, you can name one or two, but if each one of you would just give me one name, we would increase the production, the number of people watching dramatically, and get the right people. So please give that some consideration. Well, today we're going to talk to you about freelance offense. And let me start with this. Freelance offense is not the passing game. It is not the motion game. And it is not chaos. And it is not individual. Players just doing what they want to do for themselves. When we talk about freelance basketball offense, we're talking about an extreme area of teamwork, because it's easier, not always easy, to get teamwork when you run set plays. But this is the epitome of teamwork, when players are working together without a set pattern, without a set way of playing, and still being able to work significantly to get the shots that they want by doing things unpredictable. That's tremendous things. It takes, it's probably one of the hardest coaching things you'll do, but once you do it, and you can do it quite simply and with a few rules, get your players doing it well. Well, all players know how to freelance. I mean, they've been playing pickup games since they can probably remember. And so they're very knowledgeable about this. It's something that they do all the time. In fact, I think that our game really grew in the playgrounds. It didn't grow so much in the structured areas. As I see it, and I've been overseas and I've been coached internationally, and I know what they go through. They're very robotic-like. Because they have not had the background of the free time to play. And now we don't have it. I don't think we do a lot of what you call playground games, because we got AAU, and a lot of players are doing that all summer long during the season. And I, for one, like AAU basketball, because I think that they, rather than having some coach tie them into an offense, they're getting a chance to play free. And you see them as they really are as players. Well, freelance basketball is built on improvisation. Improvisation is used, the term is used many ways. But one of the best ways and most used ways is in jazz music, where 3, 4, 5, 6 different instruments, can be making things up as they go along. They do that, though, because they have rules. They don't have rules like we do. They have a thing called chords, so that they're all in the same general area of the music, and the drummer and the bass violin players keep them in the same time. So, but they have their rules, but they're making things up anyway. And in basketball, we can do the same thing. But improvisation is something you can learn. But it requires playing instinctively rather than learned and thinking when you play. And you can learn to be instinctive. You can get your players to be instinctive if you do the repetition that it takes and the teaching that it takes. And that allows your players to learn how to play as a group. It's called group improvisation, group freelance. The rules will do that for you. Well, this is just a short time we can talk about it. I'd like to close with this. One of the masters of the game, in my opinion, was Dean Smith at North Carolina, and he was doing this for a long time. And I was a college coach at the time, but I didn't really. We didn't play North Carolina. We played a lot of the people that they played. So occasionally I'd see films and stuff of North Carolina. But he was building his thing there in the east, and I was in the west at the time, and we were kind of growing in the same direction. But he wrote a book on his own, and no ghostwriter or anything. And in it he talks about what he called the freelance passing game. He had trouble with coming up with a name because he didn't want to call it just freelance, because he felt that the players and the media and the fans would think, well, he's just throwing the ball out there and they're doing everything on their own. So he called it the freelance passing game, and he uses the words passing game in the quotes, but I bracketed freelance before it. So let's take a look at 4 of his quotes from that book.
Well, this is Dean Smith in his own words, taken from the book, as I mentioned before. They're direct quotes, and right from the book. And I felt that these 4 kind of fit what we've been trying to get across to coaches in both this and Basketball Talk Pro and in our course. The first one is Dean Smith began to use it when his plays broke down. One of his sets was called the 1-4 game, and he talks about it. The 1-4 game is structured to bring about a good shot quickly. If the scoring opportunity does not occur, our continuity takes us into the freelance passing game. The brackets, of course, unquote, are mine because that is the actual name he used for this part of the offense. So he really was using it in the breakdown very early on, before anybody else really was. And, I want you to see this because that's what we do. And we encourage everyone to do. Improvisation at the end of the fast break, another area we have covered. Also, we have used the freelance passing game from the secondary fast break, moving quickly into action before the defense can become set. Like our transition, when we talk about transition and running the Monk offense in transition, this is what he is talking about. But here's an interesting quote, and it's one that I really, really believe in. building a defense. His quote is, "Defensive practice, as such, becomes more meaningful as a result of encountering the variety of situations created by the freelance passing game." I can amen that many, many times. I think that the monk offense has helped to build our defense better than anything else that we could think of. Players in practice have to go through it day after day where they have to defend without knowing what the offense is going to do. The last one, freelance skills enhancing the set offense. And this is something I don't think a lot of people uh, think about, but I do. Significantly, exposure to the freelance passing game serves to enhance many of the skills required for efficient execution of the set game. If you have practiced and got under control your monk offense or your freelance game, you will find that players react differently when they go to a set offense. They have a lot more confidence in what they can do, and they learn ways how they can improvise off of the set offense. If you don't encourage it, even they will find ways. But they're used to improvising. They're used to playing instinctively, so it makes your set offense much more unpredictable. Well, I'm using his quotes because, of course, I consider him one of the masters of our game, right along with Wooden and Phil Jackson, and these are guys who have really built our game. And I wanted you to see that this is right from he wrote these quotes. These weren't quotes that somebody else used for me. This is right in his book.
Well, we do a lot more with freelance offense and other offensive things, of course. But the basis of almost every offense that we're going to talk about is the ability to freelance. Because as you know, if you've been watching this show for a while, I bring up the 70-30% principle. 70%, and I've just done hundreds and hundreds of games, college and the NBA, and learned that 70% of all the scoring on both teams occurs when players are making things up on their own. So the difference is that you can train and help your coaches learn how to do it better, but no one hardly does. And so obviously Dean Smith did. And so I wanted you to get a start, and we'll talk about it a lot more. Well, that's it for this time. We'll see you next time. Thank you.